Yes, indeedy, it is our turn. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cosmic Blueprints with Tony Z and co-host me, Kate of Gaia, with our special guest, Paul Giovanni, and I'm not seeing either of them on the board yet, so you're going to have to tolerate just little me for a little bit here until I get them on the board. Anyway, yeah, interesting days, I tell you. I was on a show with the Bull and Rocco show last night with freedomslips.com, Revolution Radio, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think it was a little bit more fun than they were expecting. But anyway, for those that tuned in, will know exactly what I'm talking about, and I can hardly wait to get the download of that one. And oh, there's Paul now. I can hardly wait to get the download of that one. Just to hear how badly I cut off with Skype about 8 or 9 times last night. But yeah, definitely an interesting show to say the least, and we like to support everybody because we're all in this game together and we're all providing the same answers and bringing to light the same issues. I don't call them problems. They're just solutions waiting for an answer, and that's what we do. Hello, Paul. How are you doing tonight?
Guys, how are you doing? You okay? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah, on your station. Okay.
On your show on the station, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's all good. No, we've been bragging about you every show, so I hope your ego can handle it.
It's all good.
Well, just so people know, this is the illustrious Paul Giovanni, the owner of Critical Mass Radio, the platform, so generously handed to one of the platforms handed to us to keep our voices active and in the game after, let's just say, our little change of venue a couple of weeks back. So we didn't miss a beat, and Paul came to Tony and my rescue literally Saturday morning after the Friday night, and we were back on the air Saturday night. So that being said, and you're only going to be joining us for the first hour, yeah?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, that's what Tony had told me, so I'm just waiting for him to get on the board here as well. There he is. He usually has a bit of an issue getting on with Skype for some reason. But, and of course, this is Cosmic Blueprints, which is technically his show, and I just get to sit in and counter yap. But just for those listening, yeah, Paul will be with us for the first hour. We're going to discuss a lot of our objectives and what it is we do and why we do it. And for the second hour, Tony and I are, I guess we'll open up the phone lines, and just so people know, the call-in number is 661-467-2401. That's area code 661-467-2401. And you can also Skype in if you're listening to the show. What I would suggest, sometimes you have to refresh the page you're on in order to see the Skype button to Skype in. But please feel free. We're going to make it kind of an open forum for the second hour where you, the listener, you always get input. We always love when you call. And, maybe we can hash out some ideas after the first hour. Tony, take the floor. All yours.
Excellent. Hello, everybody in Cosmic Blueprints land or Internet Radio. Hi, Paul. Good to have you with us, mate.
It's took a while,
but I'm glad you're here. All cool. How are you feeling tonight, all right?
Fantastic, thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, I've been meaning to get Paul on, but I mean, people think it's simple running an internet radio format, and it's not till you actually get on and start learning about what it is you need to know, how you need to operate things, the guests that you need to get on, tracking people down, and the list is absolutely endless. Graphics, computer software you have to learn, and all sorts of stuff. Website design, it's an absolute minefield. But you know all about that, Paul, setting up the station. So how have you been getting on with Critical Mass with all of that massive workload that we have to take on?
Well, just on the back of what you said there, when I started the station up, I didn't know really what work went into running a station. And it's a 24/7, and this is why people, and it's across the board, this is why it's very important that, everyone, yourself included, even if it's £1 a month, people get donations, because if you went to work part-time, the shows would fall down. It's 24/7, you can't get away from it. So you have to be in front of your computer, you guys know this, all the time. And it's all right, it's great, you're at home and you're speaking to people that you want to speak with and work with, so that's really good, but it is 24/7. But it's the rewards that we are seeing now across the board, and it's not just with critical mass. A lot of stations that are doing the right thing. That is, this is why it's 24/7, because people are coming forward.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a pretty much since 2012 really. I think the shock of hitting 2012 itself has propelled people to like, oh my God, well, what was that was supposed to hit us? Well, it didn't happen, but come to think of it, what is going on? Because there's loads of people waking up all of a sudden. And, that's...
Oh, it hit us, but it was a very quiet little hit that people don't realize. The powers that be were trying to do were promote fear porn, and we dispelled that right up to December 21st, 2012, and the plans, I'm sure, that they wanted to come to fruition didn't, and we've passed that hurdle, and we are on the turnaround, and yes, the planet is awakening, and that is the very subtle change, and it's not so subtle anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we found it right the way across the board. Can't even believe that we had a guy on the show the other night who spent 30 odd years. Some of you may be listening, some of you probably weren't, but we had a guy that's been talking about prohibition of gun ownership. Sorry, not just guns, drugs, and all sorts of other things, and he's been fighting prohibition for years. And even though this guy is sort of like woken up in a lot of areas, and he's very switched on with his subjects, he's still closed down in others, but there is a general awakening taking place, because it gets to a point where you can't separate one situation from another, and that is because they're all interlinked. And I'm just sort of like reflecting on the changing consciousness out there, and this is how we're finding it on the radio. So basically, my lead was to ask Paul: have you sort of like been finding the same thing, Paul, in your area where you've been working critical mass?
Yeah, totally. It's in my mind, we've all been banging our heads against the wall for the last 5 years, and now the wall's gone, and we've got to the other side, and there's a lot of people that we're all shaking hands with and meeting, and it's all of a sudden I'm feeling, I don't know if it's like being liberated after 2012, after that date. It's not psychological. It's just something feels lifted for me, and I just think, right, we're good to go now. It's the station motto is it's our time now, and I truly believe that. And it's the ball rolling effect, and the momentum's there now, and we can't be stopped. There's people, as you say, waking up. I speak to people every day saying, and they're talking about issues that, and I'm not being rude, but a lot of us were covering 5 years ago. 6 years ago, but it's not the point. These are new people coming into the movement and learning, and they're in for a roller coaster, as you know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a heavy catch-up game, isn't it? When we've been doing it for years and years, like you're saying, and people are just going, there are many, many subjects to look at. They might have looked at a whole range of subjects, but not even thought about, not even come close to a lot of the real biggies that are implicated, like free energy, anti-gravity, these sort of things. Even if you turn around to somebody and say, oh, there's such things as force fields, they're going to look at you as if you're crazy. But you try and put two north poles of a magnet together, and what's that? What's a force field? Oh, yeah. You tell them the sun's not plugged into the mains, and then, what are you on about? Well, the sun isn't plugged into the mains, is it? No. Well, therefore it's free energy then, isn't it? Oh, yeah. It's these kinds of things, and it's like, oh crikey, what's going on? And these really trigger consciousness. So that's what we've been finding anyway.
But I mean, you came onto the show 3 months ago, I think now, and with what you put forward, you blew a lot of people away, and that spark, if you like, talking about free energy, is there enough for us now to be sort of kept in touch and working together. And I've listened to your shows. And see, free energy is something that's always there, but again, I think because it's such an easy concept that people won't accept it. In my mind, it's so easy to think, well, it costs us free energy, and you hear a lot of people say, oh well, the governments have known that for ages, we know that, but what are you going to do about it? And that's the thing we have to overcome. Yeah.
Well, this is the beauty, and that's what we try and overcome on this show. We can point to where it's been, how it's been hidden, why it's been hidden, the reasons behind the hiding of it, and that inevitably leads to the fact, well, if we've got it, who's actually using it, what are they using it for, and where have they gone with it? Because once you get the free energy, you get unlimited power. If you get unlimited power, you get unlimited magnetism. If you get unlimited magnetism, you get unlimited propulsion. And it leads, obviously, to the fact where you've got anti-gravity, and that means we've got a space program, and it's finally coming to the surface. Well, I say it's finally coming to the surface. It's been there for many years, but it's just been buried in ridicule programs that NASA's just been a Hollywood movie to keep the people occupied while we slaved away to pay the taxes. While they've been out there jetting around in God knows what. But that's the reality of it, and now we're beginning to realise it. So it's not hideable anymore. One of the things that Santo was saying is they can't get away with it anymore. And that's the point. They can't. There are too many people waking up.
It's interesting that you say that. I feel that that time has come, and again, too many people are awake, and too many people are waking up to the point where these lies that they're putting forward are becoming more bizarre than the actual truth, if you like. To the point, people are jumping off the ship, and it's just a question of time. And I think because we're people like yourself and everything that we're doing at the station, and everybody else who's working honestly in a true manner, the way we are working, and we are all listeners, hosts, everybody all working so hard that it is just a question of time. I don't think it's that many years away. Some people say, look, it'll never happen in our lifetime. They're too far ahead. But again, the ball's rolling that fast now and getting that big. It is just a question of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you actually took it down that road, because one of the things that I like to do when that question pops up is, look, well, you've got to remember some seriously, all right, you can't necessarily remember them, but let me explain them, and then you can go and research them, and then you'll find out I'm correct. Hitler had a Hannibal craft, and basically powered by vril power, which was basically hidden zero-point energy sources. And he had these things back in 1936, okay? So
Okay.
For a lot of people, that's a leap to take in. But we go way further than that. But I'll just give you that and see how you deal with that bit, Paul.
Well, see, because I'm that open-minded, it wouldn't surprise me. It just disgusts me, the whole issue. And again, it's just another way of keeping us under their big fat thumb.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, coming along with that sort of situation, there's a lot more to Hitler and about the whole program. There's the real stuff that went on, and there's the make-up stuff you learn in school with this big guy going Hail Hitler and stomping all over Jews. Well, the story is completely different, but I don't want to go down there tonight. The point is, what you've been told and what's real are two completely different things. And if we factor that in, basically, it's not too much of a leap to understand that, well, if we've had this and it's been hidden since 1936, it's now 2013, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about a big chunk of time there where people have been off-planet, finding other pieces of alien kit, generating anti-gravity. We had Stephen Kelly on, and he's on with us again next week, and Stephen's explaining about how we power light ships with light using silver and basically ultraviolet laser energy weapons. And it's some incredible stuff. We'll have Stephen explain it. But basically silver's got certain properties whereby you hit it with an ultraviolet beam and it produces laser light at 90 degrees to the surface of the craft. Therefore, it can be used, you've got light as a propulsion system. So in order to get something to travel to the speed of light, what do you use? Light. Simple as that. Bang, there's speed of light travel. And we can go further and further and further. But anyway, that's all technological. The point is we've got it, we've had it for a very long time, and they've been hiding it for a very long time. So when people start going down this technological, we're way more advanced than people currently get their head around. There is no choice but to accept it. If you understand A, B, and C are part of the alphabet, well, that's what we make words out, and the words make sentences, sentences, paragraphs, books. Natural read on, you know?
Well, again, I mean, the information that when I listen to you and you put forth, it almost makes it sound, I would say simple, but so much more acceptable the way you put it, because it is. I mean, the technologies that you mentioned, if you look, you mentioned Hollywood, either you guys both, and it's always been there. They've always showed us, but they've made it something that's far, far away in a galaxy, you know, and it's untouchable. But when you say, I mean, I've reports that I've listened to of people and Project Bluebeam and this, that, the other, and it's always been there. Like you say, forget Hitler, we're going further back, way back.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. The film, just I don't know if this is going to add anything to this, but people tell me to watch the film Cowboys and Aliens, because apparently there's a lot in that film that is suggesting the same as what you're talking about there, that it's again a hidden power that's always been there and people have known about, at least the people at the top.
Absolutely. I can't remember who it was I was speaking to the other day, but we were talking about how the 13 bloodlines that have always run this planet, and I mean, you go back to Egyptian cave-ins on the Egyptian caves and you see the 13 rays of light coming down with a hand on each ray of light and stuff. I mean, all of this, if we were running a webinar or I was giving a presentation, I can show you photographs of this stuff, and it's been carved into the stone for thousands and thousands of years. The pyramids are are about 50 to maybe even in excess of 50,000 years old. So I mean, this gives you an idea of how long these things have been there. We've got the things like the flower of life, which is carved in through the stone, so it doesn't matter how deep you wear away the stone. You know, it's always burned through the stone itself. And Drumbell and McKeeseldeck talks about this technology that allowed that. Cave paintings with UFOs all over the place. Leonardo da Vinci painting UFOs, do you know what I mean? Lots of us, myself included, have seen UFOs on different occasions, I've mentioned before. Yeah, guess what, guys? We've got it, and we've had it a long time. A long time before Hitler, I might add, as well. But again, it's a consciousness leap, isn't it?
Well, you know what would be easy if when people realise it doesn't cost them anything, I think a lot more people would wake up to that then, or accept it, or want it.
Yeah, that's a very valuable point, because of course when you've got unlimited energy, that means you've got unlimited travel abilities. You don't need to pay for energy, and you can travel anywhere, and you're not going to be needing a passport either, nor a driving licence. So that questions your financial system, your travel abilities and possibilities, your off-world travel, and the fact that we don't need laws and constructs in order to go to the toilet every morning. We can just get in our craft and disappear off, which obviously, if we had that, there wouldn't be much use for a passport, would there?
Can I ask on that, Tony, and this, listening to the technology that you talk about, a lot of talk about this Magnalift train that's 20 years away from production. That, in contrast to what you're saying, again, seems something that's put in front of us just to take our mind off what's really going on.
Yeah, totally. It's a maglev, yeah. And there's a bullet train in Japan that's been running for many, many years. I don't know exactly. But yeah, the Japanese bullet train, that's maglev. That's just positive. It's two magnets repelling each other. That's old technology. The technology, if you really want to look at some of the stuff we've got now, has been used in the deep underground military bases that Stephen Kelly and many others talk about, that have been hollowed out by nuclear boring machines. All of these are photographed and documented, and whereby these things, the last information I had was they're travelling something along the lines of 15,000 miles an hour plus, and these things just they're networked right across the planet, and the evidence is more than overwhelming to sustain their existence. It's incredible. Even Phil Schneider was talking about these things, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that, before they killed him. But technology, what we think it is, and technology really are two completely different things. So there's a choice. You can either ignore it and curl up in a ball in the corner, or face it. And you know, if you've got something like cancer, for example, you can go and have chemotherapy or bicarbonate of soda. You call it. You know what's going to hurt you and what's going to help you. You know, it's a no-brainer. So once you've got it, you've got it. It's as simple as that.
I mean, I don't know. I do feel that with the technologies also, it just feels okay. You talk about the latest phone and the latest Apple computer and the latest this, that, the other, and even though we see this being sold to us, I've always had this feeling. I don't know about you, but I always think this isn't up to date technology. We know that. The guys must be laughing at us. Think, look at these idiots running around after this computer that's 40 years out of date.
Yeah.
That's the bit that aggravates me, and I think on the point I'm trying to make is when because people love all that technology, people realise what's really out there. They would want it, and they'd want to know why they can't get their hands on it.
Yeah.
You know, anything that glitters, if you like.
Absolutely. Yeah. One thing I want to point out, Ben, as you've mentioned that, is number one, the mobile phone was invented by Black Ops military, and one of the first mobile phone companies was Nokia, and that was funded by the American military Black Ops. Now, you think back to when you were a child and we were watching Star Trek with Captain Kirk, and he used to tap his chest on his jumper and he used to go beep, 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 and he used to say, you know, bridge to Captain Kirk, etc., blah, blah, blah. Why didn't he have a mobile phone? Well, the reason is, number one, they did have the technology and way beyond anything we've got on a mobile phone right now. But number two is, when we put a mobile phone up to our ear, there's a piercing, basically a microwave generation spike protruding from the end of the phone, so that it will act directly upon the pineal gland. And when you understand that the initial Nokia was actually funded and paid for by the military, industrial military complex, and the actual technology damages the pineal gland, which is the spiritual connection to self, thy single eye that connects up your optic nerves and your two hemispheres of your brain, it's your spiritual connection to consciousness, then you'll understand why the military would be funding mobile phones and why we're using mobile phones and not tap on your chest, Mr. Kirk to bridge type technology, which is possible. So, I mean, it all begins to fit when you look at it in the other directions. You do some research into the background. You know, we weren't born with microwave ovens. We didn't need microwaves. You know, again, whole different concept. But you know, we don't need a lot of this stuff. But we've been tricked into having it because it's mainly bad for us. You know, and there's an alternative reason for everything. But you need to be able to look at it in great detail to find it. And that's basically where I'm coming from on that. I don't know what your take is there, Paul.
I'm hearing so much recently that, I mean, my microwave's out of the kitchen now. I unplug the internet, you know, the modem at the end of the night. That's all done because of Wi-Fi, etc. You know, it's these little things that you mentioned there, all put together, like you say, microwave, your phone, all in one day, Wi-Fi, everything that you're walking around, you're subjected to. I have no doubt now that this is all part of a I don't want to say a distinction plan. I try not to go down that route, but sometimes you just can't help but say, well, what else are they doing it for then?
Yeah, exactly. It's a construct. It's been constructed to confine us. In a nutshell, I'll say it, that's what it is. It is a construct. You know, the law is constructed to act like a wall. You'll go to that point, but you can't go any further because you need a license, or you need a permit, or you need permission, or, you know, you're not allowed. You know, it's all bollocks to keep us penned in and to stop us being free. Basically, everything, the money, the energy, the tax, the government, the construct, the systems, it pisses me off when I talk about it sometimes. Sorry.
It's not the one that's in recent days, because I mean, there's a lot of guys who are listening now to the show, and they're listening on the chat box and at the station, etc. I've been doing some research. It is on what you're talking about. It's an Italian doctor of football, and he prolongs people's careers by removing teeth or doctoring teeth, and he was saying it's all connected. Teeth represent parts of the body. Going on to a previous show of yours, Lisa was mentioning today, with the mercury in the teeth, the fluoride that was subjected to brushing every day in the teeth, again, poisonous, affecting the spine, something else, again, like you say, with the microwave technology, and now through the teeth, these guys have known for I don't know how long another way of killing us slowly.
Absolutely. Everything from the fluoride right the way through. Teeth alone, poisonous is basically mercury vapor, cyanide vapor and stuff that's coming out, and we're swallowing this every time we chew. I apologise, people, I didn't do it. It wasn't my fault, so don't hang me. But you'll find that these things were paid for in the NHS, if I'm not incorrect. Yeah, especially in Britain. And you'll also find that the vaccines were also given away free on the NHS and the National Health Service. Same with the medications, pharmaceuticals, etc. Can you see a pattern, anybody?
Well, it's only when I mean, I never knew this, but the teeth, you can have charts and, certain, all the teeth represent, it's like reflexology. Parts of your feet, represent parts of your body, and again with the teeth. So if you've got a toothache, you can check the chart and, oh, there you go, it's your liver, or it's your lung, or whatever. And they know this, and as you just said there, with mercury, fluoride, etc., attacking the teeth. And I mean, these mouthwashes are unreal. Again, so by attacking the teeth, they're attacking our internal system. Clever stuff. I mean, somebody mentioned in the chat box earlier that these guys are way ahead of us. We've got a lot of work to do, and it's right when they're that advanced and they know how everything affects us. We have got a major battle in our hands. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much stuff I can go into on this. The easiest thing, if people want to know about the stuff that we're talking, I have to go back to the book because it's a resource material. If you download part 1 and part 2 of Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness, which is available on my website, it's all over my Facebook, it's all sorts of places, it's on the Syncrenicity website, it's on various other websites, including Kate's and Santos's. If you go through book 2 of it, you'll find all of these things that we've talked about in great detail with lectures on the subject by scientists, doctors, professors in all sorts of alchemical processes. All of this is covered, from microwaves to fluoride to just all of this that we've discovered. And there's even more, because if you imagine that, what would you think if I said your dentist is in on it as well? In other words, the dentistry establishment is in on it, because you were just talking about the teeth being connected to energy meridians that run across the body. Now, these are what your acupuncturist put pins or stimuli on certain acupuncture points or pressure points across the hands, the feet, the arms, the entire body. Now, these are your energy lines, a bit like the ley lines of the Earth are the ley lines of the energy lines for the planet. Well, we've got energy lines as well, and these are what we talk about in energy medicine, acupuncture being one of the terms. When you go to a dentist, not only will he actually fill that full of amalgams, which is the poisonous stuff that we're talking about, or you might get a root canal treatment. Now, with a root canal treatment, they'll drill out the nerves into the energy meridians in your gums. So they're damaging that meridian. There's no longer any communication there because he's killed it. He's killed the nerve. He's told you he's killed the nerve, and he stuck a needle in it and killed it. First, they remove the nerve, then they drill out the actual tooth in the tooth channel in the centre, then they put in a metal spike right into the energy nerve. Now, what does an acupuncturist do? He puts a metal spike into your hand. Now, your acupuncturist is doing it for a good reason. The dentist is doing it because that's what he's been taught. And when you put metal spikes into energy points, you get resulting changes within the physiological body. So what they've actually been taught, like the doctors have been taught to give you chemicals, the dentists have been taught to screw up all the energy meridians in your jaws as well. But it's not until you investigate this that you realise it and you find it out. When you find it out, you go, my God, it makes perfect sense. And I can give you an example, one example that is famous, and you can find it on the net, is where a woman was actually treated with she was given a root canal treatment, and she was sitting there, she'd had a nerve taken out, she was just getting ready, and the dentist put this spike into a tooth, and he just got it down to the bottom of the root canal, and she turned around and she went, oh my God. And the dentist said, what's up? She says, I've gone blind, I can't see anything. Right? And the doctor says, what do you mean you've gone blind? Sorry, the dentist says, what do you mean you've gone blind? I've gone blind, I can't see. And he's took this spike back out of the tooth again, and she's like, oh shit. fucking hell, I went blind, blimey. And put it back in, she's gone blind again. Now, if you imagine that that had been a couple of mil shorter, or a meridian had been a couple of millimetres or fractions of a millimetre off from where he drilled slightly to the left or to the right, and then 6 months down the line, a month down the line, 2 weeks, 2 years, 4 years down the line, she's suddenly gone blind, who would have tied the actual tooth to her going blind? Well, nobody. Do you see what I'm saying? You'd never in a million years think, oh, well, it was that filling you had 20 years ago. It doesn't compute, does it? Unless you look at all of the body's systems together, from energy, well, that's a big subject, but from the energy to the ingredients, to the vitamins, the minerals, the supplements, the toxins, the pharmaceuticals, all of these things. You've got to look at them all in relation to each other. And these are just some examples anyway. But I didn't mean to frighten anybody tonight. This was supposed to be a nice chat about,
Oh, Tony, I'm just sitting here shaking in my booties. Okay, it's like I can't handle the truth. So let's talk about something important like American Idol.
Hey, did you see his senders?
Listen, we have at least 12 or 13 listeners listening to us right now. So be careful.
Oh my God, 15 of them all in one go. I don't know. So anyway, we've had an absolute barrage of people suddenly waking up and realising, oh my God, all of these things are real, and yeah, we're starting to get it now. So it's going to be a bit of an awesome future, I reckon, for us, Paul. What do you reckon?
Again, it's the greatest time to be alive. It's the hardest time to be alive, but I do see a light at the end of the tunnel. I really do, and I just think now, because I think things are swaying in our direction a lot more, then we'll see a lot of more changes that will benefit us. Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy road, but it's not going to be like the last 5 or 10 years, where people like Santos, etc., and Ike have been really just talking to themselves, as it were. And now, as you say, there's so many people waking up and so many people putting things together. In effect, what we're doing is not teaching or dictating, but we're the library now for newcomers to wake up to, and it's going to be a lot easier for them as well to pick up.
Well, this is the point. I mean, I feel myself, and I'm sure you do, and I know Kate does, we've been preaching about this a long, long time, and we've been sick to death of preaching about it, because a lot of the time people weren't listening. But now, if I want legal advice, all right, in the old world, if I wanted legal advice, I'd go to a solicitor. If I wanted medical, I'd go to a doctor. If I wanted, planning permission, I'd go to my local town planning councillor. I'd go to somebody that was supposed to know something about this lot. Now, what we've got here are people whereby you go to the mainstream doctor, you're going to get screwed. You go to the dentist, you're going to get screwed. You go to the you go to the hospital, you're going to get screwed. You go to somewhere else, you get jacked up with, not wishing to go there again, but basically vaccinations. So if you listen to what you're being told by the establishments, you're going to get screwed. So there's pretty damn well nowhere left to go. If you really want to know the truth and you really want to know the answers, the internet and people like us are the ones that are trying to explain what's happened, how we've ended up in this position, and what we're going to have to do to change it. So really, the truth movement is the number one. It's the number one place where you can actually go and get some sensible answers that can actually make some sense, rather than the archaic systems that we've been indoctrinated into. At least that's the way I see it. So I'm really chuffed to be here and proud to be where I'm sitting, waiting to help people, really. It's as simple as that. Help people wake up and help people heal and help people understand. I expect you to all the same way.
People say, hosts and listeners, you've heard it yourself, people on the outside who say, why do you do this? And it's not because we so much that we want to, it's because we realise now that this is why, you said this the other day, this is why we are here, this is our calling. When people say, what is it that you're supposed to do in life, and you can never find it, this is what I'm here for, and everybody else. You don't really have a choice once you wake to this. And if you do, I don't know these people who actually get into the truth movement and then decide, well, do you know what? I'm fine with life as it is. I don't need all this. It's too much like hard work. Then if those people would just join together and join us, if you like, this would be sewn up in the next month, because there's so many people on the border of, I know what's going on, but you know what? I'd rather, like you said before, watch Dancing on Ice, Pop Idol, EastEnders, whatever. That's the shameful thing, I think.
Yeah, well, I've got a message for those people, and it goes a bit like this. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If you're part of the problem, you can do it consciously or unconsciously, but the fact of the matter is, when you start understanding this stuff, you will get it. So you'll either run away and hide, and just go and hide in the corner, which is not going to get you anywhere, because eventually you've got to come out, or they'll come into the corner and get you. So you've got no choice in this. If they're not going to get you, they're going to get your kids. And if they're not going to get you or your kids because you're magic at going invisible, they're going to get your grandkids or your grandkids. In other words, there is no escape. So you've either got to wise up to it, deal with it, and let's all deal with it collectively, and that'll be the end of that one.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. It's I've seen people drift out of the movement. I'm trying not to say movement, but they're waiting, if you like, and something's affected them. Maybe it's a parking ticket, or something's just affected them personally, and they jump back on it again because they know what's going on. Whereas I think in the majority of people like yourself are wanting to help your family and everyone, where these people are just a bit more individual and close to home. They're not interested in helping everyone as long as they sort themselves out, stop paying the TV license, or this bill or that bill, they're fine. But where we come in is that we're trying to help the masses.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, whether you're paying a council tax bill or a TV bill or a parking ticket, again, you need to eventually face the actual question of what is money, why do we need it, especially if you've got free energy, free travel, free fuel, free heating, free lighting, free warmth. Why do we actually need to pay for any of this? Especially if we don't need a passport or a driving license, if we've got our own technology. And it comes back fundamentally where you can't escape this thing. You need to take the whole lid off Pandora's box in the end.
Well, let's start even nipping that bud a little closer. If you get rid of your TV, you're going to suddenly realize that you don't need a TV license anyway. Get rid of the goggle box that's sitting in the corner because that puppy's watching you, especially the newer ones. These newer TVs, they've been able to watch you in your living room for many years. Most people don't know that. Also, when you turn the TV off, it is not off. The only time it's ever off is, and there's no guarantees there either, because there is capacitance within it to keep certain components working for a certain length of time. But the TV itself, if it's plugged in, is always on. There are components running full time. That's why you have the instant on, instant off. So get rid of the TV, and then you don't have to worry about the TV license in the UK in particular. So let's get that one out of the way, and then start picking on other things, little things that. Let's talk about saving, fiat money, whatever you want to call that crap. But again, these are just little solutions. You can find something else to stop throwing debt at money, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, and that same thing applies for your Sky TV box. It also applied for your Digi box way back when. It more than applies now, but it also applied for certain really old makes of video recorders and stuff like this when those first started coming out. But now it's built as standard under EU regulations into all TV sets. But I mean, that's nothing. They're listening on the phone, they're listening through the electrical systems, they're listening through, all sorts of different ways. So there is no escape, so just get used to it. What do you think? We've all come out and gone, yeah, sod it. You're only, again, what corner do you want to hide in that you could possibly imagine that they're not going to spot you in? Don't you know they've got satellites now? And have you looked at the capabilities of these satellites? These satellites, and let me give you an example. This is going to shock you alone. Okay? But the military have mapped the inner oceans of Earth right through the Earth's crust. Now, there's a couple of shocks there. One, they can see through solid rock, the magma, and all the rest of it. And number two, yes, the Earth is actually hollow. It's a cell, like every cell in your body, like every planet out there in the solar system. They're cells. They're entities. This is why the Earth has ley lines. The Earth is a living being. Crystals are alive. They're life forms. There's all sorts of things that are going to shock you when you start going down this wormhole, let alone rabbit hole. But yeah, I'll just finish there and let Kate carry on from where I left off there.
I was going to say good timing. My computer likes to freeze up, especially when people ask me questions. Again, you've got the Argo system as well. If you're talking surface watching, I mean, I was watching a video the other day. You got the drones. Drones armed with these Argo cameras that are flying up around 17,000, 18,000 feet. So you can't see them. You don't even know they're there, and you certainly won't hear them. And they can zoom right down to such a degree you'd be embarrassed. And they can look through. They're getting to the point now where they can look through buildings. You already mentioned that, and a whole lot of other neat tricks. The point is, guys, and this is the lesson that I get from this, there is no hiding, so it's time to say, well, screw that, let's have fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we've treated it.
Absolutely. Your agreements on that, Paul, or your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, this hollow earth, I mean, I think that's where all the odd socks and pens and gloves disappear to. It must be someplace that they'll hide. But, really, it's time now that people think that you can't be in the truth movement and have a life. And there's so many of us awake and together and working together that we can. There's still so much that we can enjoy. We don't need the TV. There's still a lot of nature out there that we're trying to protect. We know what we like as people. We are natural, spiritual beings, I think, deep down. So this is if we come together, we can enjoy that a lot more. And as you said, Kate said, let's have fun. There's enough of us now to have fun where we're not all scrapping around trying to find someone who's awake like us. So let's socialise. Let's run stations, run shows. Let's come together and let's have a laugh, because together, linking arms, we've done it. We've done it. We've just got to move forward. And the biggest thing, and I'll say it now, is you don't agree with what I've got to say. I don't agree with what you've got to say. That's okay. But in general, we've got a common goal that this world isn't right. People are making a lot of money and doing a lot of bad things, and that has to stop.
Yeah, here, well said, mate. Absolutely. And that's the goal. I mean, taking it back to the radio networks at the moment, as we started out this conversation, like I say, the networks are growing and growing exponentially. We've now got a situation, obviously, where we're connecting up lots of different networks, so it's going, instead of like a spider to an octopus, do you know what I mean? We're growing extra legs and extra connections, and each one, like the web spreading out across the world, is interacting and interconnecting. And it's just accelerating, so it's wonderful. It's a beautiful time, like we say, and there's more and more people connecting, so I don't think you're going to be lonely in there. In fact, it can be the opposite, because when you become exhilarated by, flipping heck, I never knew that, how does that work then? No, you don't tell me that, you twit. How can you say that the Earth's hollow and all this, that, and the other? Well, let me explain it to you. And then you can sit them down and they go, no, I don't believe that. I said, go and look then. It becomes quite fun, especially if people, aren't up to the levels. I mean, initially it used to be hostile, but there are 3 stages of the truth, isn't there? There's denial, there's, anger, and then there's basically acceptance. And you can't get from A to Z without going through certain stages. And those are part of the stages. But as I say, a lot of hostility we've had to put up with for years and years and years, but now everybody's opening, accepting, and it's becoming interesting, and with another couple of months to a little bit longer, it'll become really cool as well to understand what the heck is going on, because people out there are going to want to know. That's my opinion.
See, when people, for me, the way I'm going to try and explain this best I can. The situation we're at now is, it's like, for me, when you meet somebody new and there's an attraction there and you fall in love, the honeymoon period's over, you start seeing each other for what they really are, and all that love goes out the window, okay? 3 years later, it's all finished. But now, all that love because we're meeting people who are the same, who've got a genuine goal, and as people fall in love, there's an energy with each other, with friends, and people are very close to each other in this tube movement now, and helping each other all the time. And this is what I see going. I have met some amazing people. They're at the station every night. I see them at talks, conferences, you guys, and you know that you're going to be friends for a long, long, long time, you know? And that is the difference I see now, where there's a love energy, and it's a positive energy. We all know we've got work to do, but we're all happy in each other's surroundings, and we're all supporting each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's very well said. One of the things I'd like to explain, or just break that down just so people actually get the point home, is if I teach you something that can save somebody or somebody else around you or yourself, you're going, oh, crikey, you know, I thought I wasn't going to make it then, but you've showed me, you know, I don't need to die because I've had cancer. You know what I mean? I've treated this, I've used it off. You don't know what that means to me. I thank you so much. And you value that information. You value that second chance that you wouldn't have got if you'd just gone straight to the doctor and said you've got 6 months, and then that's the end of it, pal. You know, again, if I give you information, I empower you, and that in turn is of value to you if you wish to accept it. If you wish to turn away, then that's your own prerogative. But if we all go around empowering each other, and this is the big frightener for them, then all of a sudden we're not going to need them anymore, because we'll be empowered and we won't need the yes sir, no sir, 3 days full sir attitude anymore, because we've grown up and left school, basically, gone and got our own situations.
Mm-hmm.
So in a nutshell, all about empowering each other. So the more help you can give to others, the more they can give to others, and it just grows exponentially. But, Kate, you there?
Oh yeah, I'm just sitting back enjoying you guys. This is great. Makes for great radio, you know, especially in the UK with a couple of English accents. You toss in me, and I kind of throw the curveball. But you know, hey, again, this is kind of the thing I started off with tonight. How we can do things better together. And although and you made a lot, well, both you guys made a lot of great points, but when you start looking at the big picture, where we all have a like intent. Now, we're not all on the same road to get to that same intent, but the intention is definitely there, and that, for me, is the real change, where people have intent to change something better, to change themselves first. That's the key. You're not going to fix anything by trying to change someone else outside of you. That's what the system does to us, and look what that brought us. You know, and this is a matter, and this is where Syncrenicity.com comes into play, where, you know, we're creating hubs for others to come through. So it's a one-stop truth shop, and it's cross-promotion, where we're all supporting each other. It's like, you know, here we are in Critical Mass Radio. Regardless of what happened with Freedom Reigns, I'll still promote all of it when the intent is there. I mean, we've worked with American Freedom Radio. We've got awakeradio.co.uk, Truth Central Radio. We've been on thesechangingtimes.com, I believe. You know, I was on TNS Radio for a couple of years, a while back, with Vince and the crew, and or Vin, whatever you like to call himself. I have no idea. I always call him Vin. But anyway, and so many other collectives that are coming into the fold here. Now you bring in, you know, the stuff that we've been doing, and Santo, and oh, by the way, tomorrow night we have Santo Bonacci and Jordan Maxwell on again. It looks like it's going to be a regular Friday thing. It seems to work for both of them, so we'll see. Not to preempt your show, Tony, but it's going to be called Syncretism or Cosmic Blueprints anyway. Important thing is we get the right people on, and we do have quite a list of people that we've had the good fortune of interviewing over the last number of years in the fold and accessible, which is really cool. So we can bring these people on board in new units of time, so they can bring forth new discoveries and new revelations, because every day that goes by, we all learn something new. And this is where we get our collective mentality together, not a hive mind. This is a different thing. This is unity consciousness. This is where we all have the same intent with different ideas of how to get there. Whereas a hive mind has the same intent and the same program, right? That's what they want to turn it into. But we all have this beautiful unity consciousness intent to get to the same place. Many roads lead to Rome, and that's what we're doing. And it's working. It's working in grand style. I'm digging it.
Yeah, we all are, I think. It's rock and roll. It's really good. This is the real rock and roll that we've been waiting for a long time. It's wonderful stuff. And also, there's been a couple of spin-offs that I wanted Paul to briefly mention as well. I say a couple of spin-offs. I'm underestimating it. It's a bit more than that. There's been a lot of call as well, Paul, for outside of events, haven't there? So I wondered if you want to explain to the listeners out there what critical mass and you yourself have been doing in the form of, what would you call them, seminars?
Yeah, seminar, conference, road shows. What we've got, this is where people say to me, well, Paul, how have you managed to start the station and this, that, and the other? The team of people that is at the station that I'm part of, this is how we've got to where we've got, because everyone's pulling together. So the hosts are all helping with events. I mean, you've spoke to a few of them yourselves, and we've got a guy called Rob Freeman who helps with all the Freeman on the land stuff, and he's got road shows. I mean, it's been asked for. It was something that he wanted to do, but now it's got to a point where he's needed, because every time he does a conference, he doesn't get home till 2 o'clock the next day because he's stopped for asking questions all the time. So we put on a road show for him, and now that's led to other groups asking for him, can he go up and down the country? We put in conferences on with guest speakers together, and we've done the first one. The second one's in Liverpool next month. This month. We're in February now, aren't we, guys? And yeah, there's more of the same. There's more speakers that I'm not. See, this is the difference, guys, isn't it? A few years ago, we had to search around and scrap around for people. Now they're just coming and asking, "Can you fit me in for this date? Is there any chance I could speak at this arena?" And all we're doing, facilitating that, putting it all together. Simple.
Yeah, it's a natural progression, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, it's one thing actually sitting to some interesting information, which is great. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's very enjoyable for the people that want to actually learn something.
Tony, the floor is yours. I'll be right back.
Yep, cool. It's, as I say, from my point of view, it's very enjoyable if you can sit there and listen to a fascinating program on some information you didn't actually have. But it's a whole leap again if you've got the opportunity to go to a local town hall or something and go and actually see somebody who you've been listening to on the radio and just want to, maybe you're really excited by their information or what they bring to you, as in you've benefited from their experience. And, just the opportunity to go see them on stage and live in person is like, the next leap up to listening to the guys on the radio for, I don't know, it can be a week or 6 months. And I feel that's a natural progression of things, of how they're going to play out, and I'm sure you feel the same.
I think, because I know you mentioned energies quite a lot here in the last hour, is people don't realise when they're watching something on YouTube or whatever, they don't realise the buzz in a room. A lot of people told me that the conference wouldn't work, the first one we did in Manchester. And some people that are close to it, it won't mean anything. And a lot of people came to me after and said, when is the next one? Can you do it in when's it, the next few weeks? And because the room, when we finished, it was fantastic. And it was a hairy day. There was a lot of highs and more highs, and there's a few sort of edgy moments, we say, with speakers and people in the audience. But it was an amazing day, and it just, when you're there in that energy with people of the same energy, all of the same mind as we are, in any group, you just feel each other with that, and enough for us to go, right, let's put our foot down now, and that is basically what we've all been saying, with the balls rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is the thing. I mean, everybody's heard the saying, like, a kid in a sweet shop. Well, we're all kids, really. We're all, if you like these flavoured sweets, as in knowledge, information, empowerment, self-awareness, consciousness, these are all our sweets. Because we've grown out of the sweet things, we actually know they're bad for your teeth now, and they're poison you. So now we've moved on to the real information, which is empowerment and as I've just said, consciousness and enlightenment. And so these are the real true jewels that we've all been after. So yeah, you get a buzz out of it, don't you?
It's amazing. It is amazing because, like I say, because we've been with this heavy cloud over us for so long, being laughed at by everybody, by loved ones and friends for every little thing, pointing to the sky, pointing out lines in the sky, and people taking the, you know, it's we've been subjected to that ridicule for so long. So to meet not just a handful of people, now we're meeting hundreds of people at all these seminars, etc., stations, meetups, with so many people that we're meeting, and we're feeding off each other, exchanging numbers, email addresses, come to the site, come to the show. All that now is happening all the time. And before you had to force that, again, I reiterate the point, and now it's just a natural thing where it's, what's your number? What's your email address? And that is the network. I believe in networking. And, even the listeners at the station, they are so involved with this paper. The paper that we've got coming out in the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, some of the listeners have joined in and put columns forward, and they're fantastic. Some of the things that are being put forward, it's unbelievable, and that is unique, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly sounds it. Yes, I'd love to be involved in that, Paul. And also, over and above that, with what we've been doing, I'd like to link, obviously, we've both understood and communicated that we'd like to work together on this, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But maybe we can put out, somebody was talking the other day about putting out what were they calling it? Well, it was basically a newsletter, but it was an electronic version, whereby if you sign up for the, weekly, monthly, fortnightly, whatever it is, quarterly newsletter, we could incorporate the two together and therefore, get out the materials, if not in physical form, from our point of view, at least we could contribute with the material. And also our guest editor's material if you want to put it in, and vice versa. If we could have an electronic format of that, perhaps we could either join forces on the same things or put them out in two forms.
It's the point that you're making there. Can I just label that point up? What you're saying there, said there's so many people. This is the point that if anything, that gets to me. There's not many people in this so-called movement who talk like that, and it's more of, I'd rather keep what I'm doing to myself. So who are they actually helping apart from themselves and their small group? What you're saying, come on, let's work together. We've already, how long have we been working together? It's just 2 weeks on Friday, so on Saturday, and we're moving mountains. The stuff that you guys have done with the Syncrenicity is unreal, and it has to be, the biggest thing is reciprocal. It's scratching each other's back is the way forward. It always has been. But you do that, we do that, and that's where a lot of guys fall down. They seem to want to protect what they've got and not mix, and they will fall on the lay-by. They'll drop off. The way forward is to mix and mingle, scratch each other's back, pass information on, swear, swap, pass on guests, everything, and that is the way it works. It's so simple.
Yeah. And I completely agree with that. I started out with that principle, and I'm still sticking by that principle. I mean, it took me, I had to go through so much stuff to release Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness. I had to go through the fear barriers, I had to go through the time, the effort, the massive amounts of research and the massive amounts of cross-referencing, the massive amounts of learning in the first place. In order to put those books together, nobody could possibly imagine the amount of time and effort it took to go through all that, learn it, cross-reference it, then put the book together. It's incredible. But anyway, it's all about giving it away free. That's why I put it in there. I wanted to know. I wanted to know for the simple reason that information should be given free. I would never in a million years tell somebody to go and have radiotherapy, radiation therapy for cancer. And I couldn't do that because it's wrong. Yeah? It's that simple. Once you know it's wrong because you've taken the time to learn it, you'd never recommend somebody to go and jump off a bridge unless you were sadistic. And I'm not sadistic. I'm trying to help people by saying, don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, can I jump in here, Tony? We're at the top of the hour. I just want to run something here. And it's just past 8, or I guess past 1 o'clock for you guys, or just past 8 p.m. here. So I just got something to run here, and then we'll carry on if you want, Paul, and we'll go from there.
Sure, yeah.
CMR Critical Mass Radio is a completely non-profit station where the hosts pay to broadcast their shows. The mission of the station is to get as much information as possible out to people about the world we live in, to unite like-minded people, and to try to come up with workable solutions. If you agree with the work that we are doing, then please feel free to help us continue by making a donation on the webpage. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it is our turn.
Excellent, Kate. I'm guessing we're back on.
Yeah, and welcome back to Cosmic Blueprints, top of the hour. There you go. Take it away, Tony.
Awesome. I think we might have actually captured Paul for another 5 minutes, actually, the way things are playing out. What do you reckon, Paul?
You can carry on. I'm doing all right, and I am a lightweight when it comes to this time. I'm usually fast asleep, but it's all good, guys.
Well, you know what it is. It's your mind is fired up, and that's what happens with these shows. And once you get things lit up, it's hard to put that out. You'll just be lying in bed for the next hour, wishing you'd have kept talking. Oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have said this. This is what
I'm thinking. No, I'm thinking actually I'll go for a run after this. So you've got me pumped. So let's go for it.
Awesome. Yeah, you're as sick as we are.
We said that, but we love it, really, don't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, this is it. Learned the rubbish for long enough. Let's have some fun, you know. Imagine some of the stuff we could get up to. Ooh, awful. But yeah, wonderful stuff. So yeah, the sky's the limit from here. The direction's the limit. We can go in any particular direction. Have you got anything you wanted to mention, Paul? Anything you wanted to really bring out to the guys?
Yeah, no. I'm one of these people that if somebody says to me, "You can't do that. That won't work." A bit like yourself, you guys, I go, "Okay, watch this space," right? There's so many people that aren't awake, and I don't like saying sheeple. Well, I do like saying sheeple, but there's the awake and non-awake who would never dream of doing what we're doing or anything in their life. Now, what I want to say to people, to your listeners to the show, to everyone is, don't let there be a time in your life when you look back and think, I wish I'd done more of that, or I tried that, or I had a go at that, or stood up for my rights in that way. Never ever have regrets. Do whatever it is. It's the way you learn. And that's what drives me, that's what frightens me in a way. You know, fear works sometimes, it's an ego thing. So always do what is in your heart and what needs to be done. So you can look in the morning at your reflection, as saggy as it is, at 7 o'clock, and just know that you are doing the right thing. You're happy with yourself. Being happy with yourself makes people around you happy. You need to be able to be comfortable with what you're doing. Going in an office, working office or whatever, for people, that's fine. That's all they want to do. And that's fine. They can rest easy. But for people like us, it's almost a duty really. And we should do that. And so on your last days, you can look back and go, do you know what? I made some really good waves. I made things happen, and I've left this place in a better state than I found it. And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the way you said it was almost a duty. I've taken it to the point where I feel I am compelled to do it. There is no way that I'm not going to do it anymore, because it's a duty of mine to do that. I couldn't live with myself. I use this analogy quite a lot. I'm going to use it again, even though it's wearing out right now. It's wearing out for me rather than anybody else, because I've said it so many times. But anyway, if you've got a blind and a deaf man walking down a railway track and you look behind you over your shoulder, you're walking behind him, and you can see this train coming, it's getting closer and closer, and this poor sod can't see what's about to smack him upside of the head. And you're standing there and you can reach out to him, you can say, come on over here, old chap, and you can pull him out of the way and blah, 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 and then all of a sudden, whoosh, the train goes past. Or you can stand there and watch him getting splattered all over the front. Now the question is really, would you help that old man, or would you just sit there and watch? Because that really defines the sort of person you really are inside. And when you have to look in the mirror and you can say that to yourself, that really puts your own persona in perspective. If you can look at yourself in in the mirror, in the eyes, as deep as you can look in, and say, right, would I really do that, or would I not? Well, there's your answer. And there's not a lot of people, it can take them a long time to work that out. Well, that's your answer. So if you feel that, there might be something in this, or there might be something in what I've said that resonates with you, or you actually believe what I've just told you, which is quite feasible and obviously it's the truth, then that's your answer. But it's not for me to tell you that's your answer. It's for you to realise and resonate with that truth as being the answer. And that's about it, really, on that particular one. I find it is a responsibility, because I couldn't live with myself if I didn't,
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's exactly right. And I think this is where a lot of people like ourselves have been beating ourselves up, because what we've had to go through is, well, hang on a minute, because we've been questioning ourselves. Well, why are we thinking differently? And I said this the other day. It's so easy for people that this ignorance is bliss to just to forget about what's really happening and sit in front of the Google box. I think it was the way you turned it before. It's so easy to do that, and people live in that ignorant bliss. We haven't got that option. We can't do it. And if we try, we're sitting there knowing at the back of our heads, I'm cheating myself here. This doesn't feel right. This is unnatural, and I should be somewhere else with some other people doing something else. So we're actually accepting that we're not weird, we're not strange, we're not different. We're actually us. We're in the right place at the right time, and we're here for a reason. And I'm mixing with you, talking to you guys tonight, because this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what we are here for. And once you accept that, your power for me is you are unlimited. Then you can just achieve and do anything, because you know what you're about. So it's onwards and upwards and foot down.
Yeah, totally. I agree with every single thing that you just said there, and I resonate with everything you just said. It's not like I intended to be me. I just woke up and looked around me and went, something's a bit wrong. Then I figured out what it was, and then, it's like, well, okay, if that's the way it is, then why have I got this information? What do you want me to do about it? And I'm talking to myself here. I'm thinking, well, okay, what should I do? Well, what do you think you should do? Well, I should explain it to people because I'm lucky enough to understand it. Well, there you go, there's your answer. And you question yourself and you get to the point where, no, it's not that there's anything special about me. We're all the same. We've all got this opportunity to learn and to grow. But it's just that I happen to be here in this particular meat stick, as Kate likes to call it. And with that meat stick comes this particular consciousness. And putting the meat stick and the consciousness together, I can affect the world around me. It's our world. We created it. We are gods. We are the divine. We are manifestations of creation itself. So is the earth. So is the sun. So is the galaxy. So is the solar system. And get over it. So therefore, how will I go about affecting the world around me in a positive way or a negative way? And it's a no-brainer. But it takes a while to get to be a no-brainer for some people. Because, I was in the same position as everybody else. I didn't know shit. To be totally frank, I was a chippy, or nothing special, just went to work every day and did everything else. Until stuff started changing, and there's no point in doing that. I'll write a biography one day. But, if you've got it, then use it. If you haven't got it, then go and find out what it is you haven't got. Then you might learn what you've got, and then you can use it. Simple.
It is simple. That's the beauty of it. At the end of the day, it's very, very simple. But people are trapped in this safety zone of 9 to 5, TV, junk food, and they don't want to step out of it. And that's the danger, you see. That's where, if you don't take that step out, you just fast forward your life 10 years down the line and see what you're going to be. Okay, it's frightening, and that frightened me. And I thought, if I don't make this shit, if I don't just go for this and let it happen, I'm going the same as these people I work with in the factory or wherever. The people around shopping on a Saturday. If you take, for instance, the 80s I think it was the biggest divorce rate over the last 30 years in the 80s. And this in the States as well, was higher figures there if you check it out. So many people were realizing that marriage, was so forced, and things had changed so much that this institution didn't strike as hard as it used to be, where people used to work at it, and the divorce rate went up massively. You think about how many people are getting divorced in the 80s, and that is part of for me, again, of a weighting of people being forced into a situation. And people stepped out of that. And it used to be the case when you heard somebody got divorced, it was, oh, that's disgusting. Wow, that's such a strange thing. Well, now it happens every day. You don't bat an eyelid. But you had to break free from that constraint. And I'm not saying everybody get divorced. And what I'm saying is, the trap that you're in, you need to break free to be yourself and find yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the point. It's equilibrium, I think, is the word I was looking for. It's that balance. And there's a lot to be said for that word. Wow. This is really Kate's. Again, Kate, can you comment here at this particular point? Because it's all about balance.
Getting into balance, that's where the mirror comes in really handy. What we're caught with here mostly is it's a duality, but it has been forced so far apart in a divide and conquer, where you've got people thinking they're, boys, and people thinking they're girls when they're actually both. They're extremely out of balance, right? We're supposed to be androgynous. The whole aspect of creation is electromagnetism and balance. And when you have, male electric and female magnetic, as divided as we are, I mean, that to me is part of the experiment here, is to see how far we could go into duality in this universe. And I think the mess of this planet is a good enough testimony to how badly that worked out for us. But again, it's about bringing things back into that focus, into that balance, where one is not overpowering the other, And there are going to be a lot of people that will get what I'm saying, and there's going to be a lot that won't, because this program that we're running in right now, called Duality, Earth, whatever, is designed to make sure that if you think anyway outside the box, especially about the stuff that I talk about, and Tony and the rest of us, you get ridiculed. You get Tony said it earlier. Truth at first it's ridiculed, and then it's beaten up intensely and fought against, and then finally it's universally accepted as self-evident. And what we're in the stage right now, we've dealt with the ridicule. We've had a lot of that. What's happening now is, and it's starting to clear off more, where people are fighting that truth intensely. Where they don't want to wake up, don't wreck the game, whatever. It's better games to play, guys. Especially when you get your God status back. To the point where we're at, where it's a self-evident truth, and we have a common unity, and we got to get rid of these stigmas, these dogmas, these programs of divide and conquer, and that's all they are. You can go to putting lines on a map to separate people. I mean, look at the map of Europe over the last 150 years, and tell me how significant a line on a map really is. I mean, it's changed so many times it's not funny. So, where is Austria? Where is the Ottoman Empire? Where is Germany? Where is Poland? I mean, all these borders have shifted so many times that I don't think anybody really knows. They just decide on a map some lines, but the simple truth is, the people who live there, the only way they would know there was a difference in intermingling of both languages that are using their own dialect, you wouldn't know where one country starts and one country stops. And that it really is the ridiculous nature of this divide and conquer through geography. Then they do it through religion, they do it through schools, through politics, you name it. Everything that is in this program, this system, is designed to strip and rip us apart in a perfect divide and conquer. And more people are finally waking up to that and going, wait a minute, I bleed red. Holy, so do you. Maybe we're the same. How about that?
Absolutely. We're all part of the same family, and that's the point. It's all the divisions and the divide and conquer that we've been subjugated under for such a period of time that, when we finally stick our head out, it's like it's a different world. And that's what we've got to come to terms with. We've got to look at, try and find all the divides and then break the bloody things down. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm one of the lucky ones in that I was born a freak, so I only had to come to terms with myself and then finally realize that at what point other people are gonna notice that maybe we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. So I mean that is the curse and the blessing in one. It's not an easy life to go through, but at the same time, the blessing of it is knowing exactly who you are. And it really fools judges and everything. They start calling you boy names, and you look at them with all the truth in your heart going, it's not mine. And then they bow and shit. It's awesome. Anyway, just a little inside joke. Okay, well,
awesome stuff.
Millions and millions of people kind of joke, but they've all seen it. And we talked about that on the show last night, too. It was pretty funny. It was one of the first comments Bo came out of the gateway. So people had an idea at least who they were listening to. Some freak that made a judge that. That's all good. I'm a truth freak.
Yeah, he had to put his black magic away that day, didn't he? Awesome.
Oh yeah, but he ran. That's all I cared about. It wasn't even a tip. We've talked about that before, but I'm sure, Paul, you've come across that video, yeah?
Forgive me, no. I'm sorry.
Wow, you're probably one of the 18 people on the planet that hasn't. So anyway, no, Google Judge Bows to Sovereign. You get to see me in boy mode.
Do you know what? I'll be honest. So many people send me things to watch and to listen to, and I just don't get around to it. And that's probably a drawback of running a station and doing. Yeah, I just don't get time to research anymore, even look at anything. So I do miss out on a lot. Forgive me.
That's okay. No need to forgive you. We're all busy, right? But it's 2 minutes and 34 seconds.
Oh, God, I can manage that. Surely I can.
How to destroy
in the morning, I can definitely do 2.5 minutes.
How to destroy court credibility in 2.34 minutes.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. Yeah, and they like using it on. They've used it on a few, quote exposés, unquote, of the the Freeman Sovereign, right? We're re-tagging ourselves, guys. We're going to call ourselves Living Earthlings. This is the Living Earthling movement. Go ahead, argue that one. Are you a sovereign? No, I'm a living earthling. We can talk about shorting them out. You know what they're like, right? They got to program their little dog bots called cops or whatever you want to call them. I don't know.
Kate?
Yeah?
Is there any way you could put the link in the Critical Mass chat room?
Oh, yeah, I will.
Some of the guys are asking for you.
Oh, okay. I will. Just if I open the Critical Mass chat room, the radio will turn on. So here, I'll mute out. You guys carry on. I'll take care of that.
I'm already on it. I've got it almost up now. It's coming up any second. The browser decides to call.
Oh, okay. Look at Tom. He's so efficient. You guys are so English. It's awesome. And you know I'm from Belfast, right?
Really?
You knew that. Yeah, you knew that I'm from Belfast.
No.
You do now. Now you know why I'm such a bitch. Yeah, I kind of bring a bit of that to the table, so I bring a whole lot of stuff to the table. I brought all my luggage. Might as well. I mean, I'm a bag lady now, so who cares, right? I stole my house, my family, my life, my car, my truck. Thousands upon thousands of dollars of stuff. I mean, when cops go to the level of stealing, all the booze in your bar and all the food in your house, got to be issues there. Must have been quite a party at my place that I wasn't invited to because they swap rated it. Yeah. Basically, just to let people know that's rape, and that's exactly what it feels like. You feel so violated to it, and that's what they want to do, right? They want to get in there and really. But see, here's the thing. I'd already been through, with business and stuff, a few break-ins, and always felt like that too. That someone just violated your the sanctity of your space, right? But anyway, yeah, I pushed the system's buttons, many of them. Actually, I put both my elbows down, arms length, and went hockey stick across the board. And I'm still doing it. I'm going to continue to do it. While I've got breath, I'm in this game. Guess that makes me a bit of a fighter, huh?
I think so, definitely.
Hardly a pushover.
Hey, Tony, all of us, we get our days, it's like, what the hell are we doing this for? It's like, nobody gives a shit, nobody donates anything, blah, 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 and this, credit blues and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, it's like, whatever. You're going to do it anyway, so here's the thing, either people are going to help you or they're not. So, see, that's where we're held at the world's mercy, because everyone that's listening knows that Kate, Tony, and Paul, and Santo, and the rest of us, we're going to go to the bitter end. And I guess it's some people's choice to let it go to the bitter end. That's fine.
Well,
but they know they're going to get it. That's the only thing. Go ahead.
Okay, let me just big everyone up a bit here. Everything that these guys have been subjecting us to, every ill, every single poison, and look where we are. We must be made of some stuff, all of us, in our unique way to come through this, okay, and be as strong as we are, and then go ahead and try and fight it or overcome it and join together. So to me, if you've got that built in, then we are some special people. And it's not an ego thing, but like you say, what we've been subjected to, we still come out of the cloud and raise our heads up and look round and woke up and saw what's going on. That is some good energy. That is some amazing power that we have inside us. So knowing that and knowing what we've been subjected to, we can move mountains, no problem. So
that's the power of, I was going to say that's what I refer to as the power of the mirror. And the only judge that you will ever have and will ever truly face is your own mirror. And you got to be able to look in that mirror at the end of every day. At least this is what I do. At the end of every day, you got to look at it and say, did I make a difference today? Was it for the positive? Did I really make a difference? Did I have the intent to do that? And if you can't answer yes every day, you're going to polish that mirror up a little bit and look a whole lot closer.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't getting out of here alive. Bottom line. Okay? So I'm talking with meat sticks. We either get our, here's what everyone gets to look forward to: a meat stick death, or becoming the God you are. Choose. I chose the God thing. Just saying.
Just saying.
That's what the mirror's for, right? There was a beautiful video. I put it on my Facebook. I'm going to repost it a few more times. I don't even know the guy's name, but boy, was it awesome. Let me go to my Facebook page and I'll tell you what it is. I got to make sure. I know some people. It's been tagged a fair bit, but this guy, I've got to go to his website. I haven't had time. I was out and about gathering some food today. That's kind of what we have to do, guys. We rely on our friends, and I'm very fortunate I have a small handful of really, really beautiful people that are literally, and I mean this, literally keeping me alive. I can count on one hand. And here we go. Where is it? Oh, don't tell me it's moved down that far. Oh, that's right, because I posted a couple of other. I'm a posty freak, so see more recent stories. I've got the latest up on a beautiful 1 hour expose on how Muammar Gaddafi had exposed the Illuminati, and that's why they killed him. The video here, I'll post it in the chat room, in the Syncrenicity chat room. That's one I have open right now. You've got the other one open, Tony, right?
I've got Synchronicity open. I'm juggling Windows and text and messages and stuff as well. So,
so we'll copy this. Anyway, the title of the video is "You Want to Know God?" ? Feel and heal your shadow, and this cuts it right to the bone. And he nails it. He says in about 9 minutes what I've taken 5 years to, rant about on the air. Look in your mirror. You got to fix your shadow. One of the books I wrote about actually in my transgender experience is called "In the Shadow of Myself." And how synchronistic is that? It's quite something. Anyway, Tony, your thoughts, Tony?
I do apologise. I was typing someone in. Lisa has been threatening to dial in tonight, and she's like, I can't do that, blah blah. I said, come in, So hopefully Lisa will actually come on with us tonight and just have a bit of a call in and say a bit of a hi, because Lisa actually does her own radio program called Cry Freedom. And Paul is in a much better position to let us know what Lisa does. So just before Lisa calls in, which she's going to do now, she's just promised me faithfully that she will, and she's just working it out now, she says. So Paul, can you give us a bit of information about what Lisa does at Cry Freedom Radio, please?
Yeah, the Cry Freedom Show is Lisa's very spiritual, loving lady. She helps a lot with all the graphics at the station and a lot of other things as well. And is very sort of interested in the work that you guys do, and a very open-minded person, and is eager to sort of learn and move forward. And a show that I went out early tonight, each week, does a lot of great stuff, brings a lot of people together, and it's there's different shows that we all have different flavours, and it's got a really nice feel to it. So yeah, she does a lot of good work as all the hosts do. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for her to call into the show. Then
things have changed on Blog Talk. They've given themselves a facelift, and it's changed everything. So it's not as straightforward as it once was, which it wasn't.
I'm glad you said that, Paul, because it normally isn't very straightforward, but tonight it was extra not straightforward.
I've had trouble broadcasting tonight and getting the shows up through the player. They've changed things. It's there's a delay in how everything's working as well. I did find.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button for a second. Everything's sort of like moved and changed colour and moved positions, and it's like, oh my god, what's this? It's weird.
Some of the guys are having trouble even connecting to the link I've seen in the chat room here. So it's I don't know. Maybe we're hitting some more nerves, guys. I don't know.
Well, if you just hang with me there for a moment, guys, I will try and make it a little bit easier, because there's a special widget link, and hopefully I won't lose you doing this. So hopefully I'm still on air. I'm waiting for the browser to bring up the widget. Come on then. And this is a direct line so that people can link in. I posted it in the chat room last night, actually.
We have Lisa in the room.
Hello.
Hello.
You made it.
Hey, there you are. How are ya?
Blimey, it worked.
I love it. How about that, huh? Wow, am I on live radio? Just kidding. Not like you've never done this before.
Does that work? Yeah, you can hear me.
Oh yeah, you're there.
Wow. Hi, Kate. Hi, Tony. Hi, Paul.
Hello.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey.
I just don't believe that worked, so wow. Yes, well, I'm a novice to this calling in business, but yeah, it's great to be with you tonight, guys.
Excellent. It's great to have you with us.
And I've got to say, I have to say that what you're doing, I think, is fantastic. I've listened to a couple of your shows now, Kate and Tony, and yeah, you've so inspired me, I have to say, just in a very short time of a week or so. I think what you're doing is amazing.
We're a hoot, eh?
And I'm not a groupie, honest.
Well,
no, you just like to have fun with the rest of us. No, that's the thing. Once you get in the groove of it, it's and you start doing that. Well, I'm in it now, so in for the penny, in for the pound. Yeah, So
no, really, I think what you're trying to do is amazing, because, as I say, I've listened to a couple of your shows and the information you're trying to get out, and I know you want to include Santos in that as well. So it's like a three-way thing, and I think it's just incredible. And I think the fact that you've come together with us is just amazing, and I think it's a way forward for all of us.
Absolutely.
Well, we had to move from freedom to the critical mass, and that's why we're here. Synchronistic.
Well, I think it's all for a purpose, I think. I really do feel that.
Yep, totally. Okay, well, it is indeed for a purpose.
I was going to say, I'm going to go meat stick for a second. How lucky is that? Sorry, it's that whole synchronistic thing. Once you start seeing the yellow brick road and how the Wizard of Oz and how this whole game comes together, as soon as you start seeing the synchronicities and following them, your white rabbits, things. I mean, my rabbits have been a little astray for the last couple of weeks. I'm pissed off now, but but my one rabbit that I come out and feed at night was by last night. I don't think it'll be by tonight. It's bloody cold. If he's smart, he'll stay in his rabbit hole. Speaking of which, we went down one or two of those, eh, Tony?
Oh yeah, just a few. So the least. That's the biggest understatement in the history of the galaxy.
Tony and I in Santa, we've got one of the biggest rabbit foot collections in the world, but they're fake because we don't actually kill rabbits. Sorry, I'm just in a night here. No, it's just great to have you guys. I got to tell you, Lisa, I don't know what the hell you brought to the table in energy tonight, but you got me giggling. That's pretty good.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say I totally agree with everything that Paul just said, and I think that CMR is still very young. We're only 8 months old, and it's very young in regards to a station, but I think we really are achieving something really big here, and I think we've just come at the right time. And I just go off my gut all the time, because I'm no expert on anything, but I just go with my gut completely, and I just feel that what is happening now with you guys and us and everyone is just meant to happen.
Mm.
And I have to say, you are the voice of Critical Mass Radio Show Disclaimer, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, I know who you are. I know that.
Oh my God.
Yes, so very well done.
Thank you.
Like you sound like you should be on the radio or something. Well, look, we made Tony snigger. That's pretty good.
You've been rumbled.
I'm the first person to do an automatic audio yawn on Tony's show. But moving away from that quickly.
You know them damn noisy things I downloaded by accident? You know the ones that keep disappearing every time you want to give a demonstration and use one? Yeah? The audio sounds?
Yeah, the ones from Skype Messenger?
Yeah, there's a Skype add-on thingy, and I'm looking for them now, because they've got some very, very strange... We did actually a show one night and put some of these on, and I got told off for overdoing it a little bit, so I sort of backed off on that. But I believe there's somebody in here who's not very nice.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, moving on to more important things.
This is it. But yeah, there's a few of those, and we're having some fun with that.
You were saying about moving on, Lisa?
Yes. I have downgraded somewhat, but yes, to move on. Sorry, I'm totally interrupting everyone here, but just to carry on with what you're saying. I feel that this liaison between us is a big thing, and I feel that we are definitely destined to do this. And I know you said, I think Tony said to me that Santos was thinking of coming to the UK soon.
Yes, absolutely. We're having a chat with a few people about that. We're actually just sort of like pushing a few pens around and making a few phone calls and see where the land lies. But we'll be discussing that shortly. But it sounds rather good. It's a good possibility.
It would be very awesome. Very, very awesome.
Oh my God!
I network with Kyler Davenport team, which brings many tens of thousands to the floor as well. So the numbers are going to increase exponentially over the coming days and weeks. That's the whole thing about getting everyone together, and where we're all finally on the same page, where we're all with the same intention. We all have different ways of going about it, and that's why we got to. And I urge this is to everyone in the movement. Because you don't agree with somebody's ideology of how they're doing something, look at what their intent is and look what they're trying to change. That is what we need to focus on. That's how this universe works. It works only on intent. What is the intent? What is the wish? And if the wish is to change systems, to tear it to the ground so we can build anew, then so be it. The universe will sort all that out for us. That's how this game works. What we need to do is get everybody on the same page, walking in step, because those that have been dividing this planet for so long are going to do everything in their power, and they got lots of tricks in their book They've been doing it for tens, if not hundreds of thousands of years with humanity. So again, it's not going to be an easy task, but it is simple when you actually get the notion that it's all about intent and that we're all moving. I don't care if you're, atheist, pantheist, Jew, Christian, whatever. I don't care whatever your viewpoint is, but if you know there's something wrong and you know something needs to change, we'll all get on the same, consciousness page eventually. What we need to do is get on the same road, at least going to the same destination. And once we do that, we can never be divided. They can only divide us through really, well, I already gave the list out earlier. They can only divide us, countless ways. What we have to see is how they're doing it, and just that it's just, I told you it was simple. It's this simple. Just look around. You show me a human that doesn't bleed red, and I'll show you an alien. At which point they don't count.
Kate, I so agree. I so agree with what you're just saying, because I keep going on about this energy thing, and it's what we give off individually. And if we can all get ourselves to give off this positive energy, I so believe we're going to change things.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're doing. There comes responsibility with the information, so you've got to try and make it not too much of a downer, but it's not all about going over the problems, it's all about, as well, expressing what the solutions are. If you're aware of those solutions and how we can go from, there is a problem to here's the solution, and how do we apply it, and what's the process of that. And obviously that's what we try and do, so yeah, we're trying. But I was hoping somebody was going to comment on that.
I'm going to be quiet now and hand it back to you guys, because I've interrupted you all anyway.
Paul, are you still with us? He's gone out the back for a quick cigarette, hasn't he? Either that or lost his mute button. But no, it's all about solutions, as I say. You've got to identify the problems, therefore you know where the problem is, then you can fix the problem. Again.
Well, I was going to say that's a simple one again, Tony. The fact that we're talking right now, the four of us, and everyone that's listening, we're already well aware that there is a problem. So we've got over that part, so that's why we focus on solution. If you didn't think there was something wrong with this planet, you wouldn't be tuned in right now. So congratulations. Thank you for being one of the awakened ones. Now the work begins. Well, it began a long time ago, but the real work. And it's, again, just start looking around at people and stop, understand that they're breathing. Their blood is red. They bleed when they're cut. They cry when they're hurt. They laugh and smile when they're happy. They're you. And once you can get past all of the paradigmic bullshit of religion, I call it religiosis chosenitis, for short. Politics and all this other nonsense that keeps us divided, thinking that we're all different somehow, which we're not. We're all unique. Doesn't make you different, it just makes you unique. And you bring a particular piece of the humanity puzzle to the table, and when you put that whole mosaic together, then you're going to get the full picture. And I don't know if you've ever seen the pixelations where they use people's, photographs. They'll take, like in a school, they'll take all the kids' pictures, and then they'll make a face with it that looks like an actual, color-coded face. And you can recognize the face, yet there are all these different faces that make this one face up, and that's what we are as humanity. We're all pieces, we're all individual faces of one large face. And the only thing we have to face is ourselves.
Yeah, totally well said. Totally well said.
I know that was a little profound. That was a profound for me. Okay, so that was just a new click. So there you go.
That was very well said.
Yeah, absolutely. Where was I going to go with that? Something there, isn't it? That's it. There you go. Spot on. We need to get some decent applause equipment, I think, because it's lagging a little bit behind, so that's something we're going to invest in at some stage in the future. But
no. The last thing I need is something to even hint towards having an ego. I spent a lifetime trying to shred mine. Thank you very much. I don't need that for the thing showing. I call it the tricky little bastard. I don't need that showing up anymore. So no, that's fine. And sorry I haven't been chatting in the Synchronicity room too much, guys. Not that I'm not paying attention to you, but I want to say hi to Patchy and Ragdoll and all the crew that's in there. They're stalwarts. They're always in the room, and there's a lot of regulars that come in there. Welsh Cap was in a bit earlier, had to leave, but we've got a lot of beautiful awake beings, and every one of them is. Let's talk about piston, the human, engine. Everyone that's in the chat room and listening right now, you're all pistons that are firing in this engine. The more pistons we get, the faster we go. I know it's archaic. We should probably talk anti-grav there, Tony, but I thought that would be a better example.
Yeah, fine. Nothing like a bit of combustion to set it all off, is there? That was a joke. Yeah. But yeah, like you say, full steam ahead from here. We'll move on to Lightspeed later. But I'm so looking forward to that. Oh my god. Can you imagine that? Wow. Anyway.
Oh yeah. Been there, done that. It's time to go back. And I don't want to lose sight of what we've been talking about tonight. You see, when Tony and I were a little discombobulated a couple of weeks ago, synchronistically, critical mass was there. It was like this beautiful safety net that showed up miraculously to keep us on the air. And again, all things for a reason. That does not negate the attitude that we have. I know, Paul, that Tony has filled you in a bit of our situation and what we've been through and what it has actually cost us to get here. And I will speak for Tony. We've talked about this many times. It's not what it cost us to get here. It's the fact that we don't want to waste it. That's all. So thank you for keeping it alive and keeping the voices going,
Kate, Tony, can I just ask a question?
Yeah, far away though.
You just did, but ask another one.
Okay, can I just ask how you guys actually got together in the first place to actually do what you're doing now?
Yeah, do you want to answer that or shall I?
Yeah, I'd say go ahead, because I don't think they'll believe that we met at a dance at high school reunion. Okay. Exactly. How did we meet, Tony? Go.
Well, I'm gonna put this again, as I normally comment about zip files and stuff. A very quick story is I learned as much as I could possibly learn. I started putting it into a book when I lost my brother. I lost my younger brother. And basically that was the last straw, and I vowed I was going to do some of that, this corrupt shit, basically. And so I decided to, I'd already made the decision to do it, but I was trying to find the courage to get the book up and running, and then this happened, and that was enough. That was it. And I just did what I had to do. I put all the information in the book. I exposed all of this stuff, and I exposed loads of this stuff. I keep using it all just off the top of my lid, but there's still so much more I haven't said yet. I wrote the book and I put loads of truths in there, and I mean some big truths, not just free energy. I mean, free energy is a huge truth, but I'm talking much bigger than that. And I don't want to mention it because I don't want to. I would prefer people took it a bit at a time instead of trying to give them the whole meal in one mouthful. So if you want to know, get the book. It's in Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness. It's free. Download it, and then you'll understand where I'm coming from. So anyway, I learned as much as I could learn in the book, and researching for the book, I then came across Santos Bonacci's work, and I started studying Santos's work on, and I found ecclesiastical law astrotheology, and basically the truth behind the religions. And when I heard it, it resonated, which is what I've been urging people to do, to resonate with the truth. If they find the truth, then resonate with it, and you will automatically know that it's the truth when you hear it. If you don't, you need to work on it a little bit, or you're not ready for it. Whatever. The point is I found truths, and through studying some of Santos's work, I then learned all about Kate, and one particular document in particular. I did loads of research on Kate and Santos, loads of it. And anyway, cutting a long story short, I started studying Kate's work, and I realised because the two meshed so well together between Kate and Santos, that you couldn't get a fact paper between this truth. It was that solid. It was as solid as it gets. And it took some researching to get to that point, but of course it was evident. So there was a document that Kate actually constructed, and Kate will tell you all about it. She's done loads of shows about it, and it's a very in-depth. But the document was called the Dominican Reverum, basically. And Kate, Santos, and I, all pretty much about the same, took up the courage. Well, Kate had already, drafted it. She knew it inside out. We'd studied the drafts. We'd studied the procedure. We'd studied how to go about executing the document. We'd studied implications of sending this particular document in and all the rest of it. And much, much, much more. The consequences of doing so. And so that's how we all came to me. I got in touch with Santo, and then Santo got me onto the show, because when we talked off air, it was like bang, bang, bang. We were studying Fingerprints of the Gods. He was studying it. I'd already looked at it, and I'm saying, do you realise this about the sun and this about the universe? And he's going, yes. Oh my God, somebody actually gets it. And I'm like, yeah, what about this, what about that? And we hit it off like a house on fire, because we both got it. We both understood against against the physics models, against loads of scientific information, against all of the odds, including Newtonian physics and all the stuff we've been taught. All of that is badly wrong, and we learned that, and basically so we hit it off. And I went on the radio. And then I ended up going through and touching base with Kate through Santos, and then we all sort of evolved. My book went onto Santos's website. You'll find it down there on his website, Universal Truth School, and the same with loveovermind.wordpress. So you'll also find it at my website, which is Awake Conscious Awareness, which has lots of different TV interviews, Edge Media, Sky TV and stuff that I went on to go off and do interviews, and that's basically in a nutshell how we met, because we all resonated with each other's material. And that's principally because, one, if you understand the basic stuff as I lie out, even though it's deep stuff, when you reach the end of that book, you're ready for the next bit, which is basically astrotheology, ecclesiastical law and sovereignty, and the deeper meanings of the Hermetic principles, alchemy, and how all of the harmonic universe that exists around us, how it all really works. You forget all your old sciences. This is how it works, and this is what you need to study if you wish to know. And then it comes to a point, well, yeah, I know all that stuff. What am I going to do about it? And this is exactly where Kate's material comes in, because she's written up the documents, she's studied the law form, she's studied canon law, maritime law, ecclesiastical law, bar law, magistrate's law, any law form you want to look at. Kate's been down the rabbit hole. She's broken the laws apart, she's broken the words apart, etymology, Latin, Black's Dictionary, 1 to 9. I said 1 to 9, I'm taking a guess, it might be 3 to 9, but definitely 9. But the point is, she studied all this stuff. So between all three of us, we got pretty much the trinity of the basics of what you need to know. And that's how we all gel together, and that's just stuck, because we're all on the same sort of page.
Yeah. I think that is what's so fantastic. It's because you're all coming from it from slightly different angles. So you've got yourself, I believe, from the technical, Kate from the law side of it, and Santos from the astrological point of view. So Trinity, yeah, fantastic, love it.
Yeah, we do have one caller. I'll bring them on. Just let the caller know. We have like a little over 7 minutes left. So anyway, caller area code 661. 74. Your mic is hot. What do you got to say?
Hey guys, it's me, Adam.
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. Good show tonight. What's going on?
Well, we're having a show. Oh, that's the Irish sarcasm. Sorry about that. It's natural. You will get over it. Or you won't hang around me too long. But anyway, yeah. So how you doing, Adam?
Well, I'm celebrating my birthday. Incredible synchronicity. My great uncle in Poland passed away. So there you go. That's what's going on.
Happy birthday! Well, you got a new angle of light coming back, so that's a glorious gift. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, happy birthday regardless.
Well, thank you very much. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Well, anyway, you guys have 7 minutes late. Very interesting listening to you tonight. Good platform. Wish more people called in, though.
Well,
so, yeah.
I will say in defense of the listeners, though, and I've been in radio 5 years, a bit for them, and that's one of the things I've noted about my shows. They've all been call-in shows, and very, very rarely do people call in. And I gotta say, other than the odd prank here and there, I've never had anyone call in with negative comments. So I don't know whether we're resonating with people to that degree, or we're not about creating disparity. We're not about creating division. You take your typical mainstream talk show host. That's all they're looking for is they want to find something that'll rattle people's cages, and of course it's always in the meat stick game. We don't focus on that, and I think that's probably the reason why that people are more content just to let us rant, because I will say this, and based on the feedback that I get every day, that we're saying the things that others want to say but don't have the platform to do it. But I also make it well known that if people want to call in, please, I bring everyone on. And I tell you, it can get pretty confusing, but everyone is welcome. We have an open stage here.
Absolutely.
This is your station.
I wish on my birthday, on this incredible day in my life, that more people do call in and share their inner thoughts on their own reality, because bottom line is, guys, we're here in this form, one way or another, to experience this reality. And tonight, given from a page from my book Life, I'm really experiencing a profound page of reality, synchronicity, in such a profound way. My birthday coinciding with the passing away of my great uncle. How more profound can it get? So I called in to share that with the audience. You guys have provided the platform, and again, I repeat, I give credit where credit is due, and you certainly deserve the credit. So thank you very much. I wish everyone a very good night. And my wish is that more people do call in and share their inner thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Much obliged. Lisa, we need to hear a bit more from you. We've got about 4 minutes left, and we'd love for you to join us on a show some night, and just have a sit around and just talk.
Okay.
These are the kind of open forums that I like because they're very real, and they give people the opportunity to see that. And I think the whole point of this, and by the way, Paul did drop off the call there, he tagged me, so again, thanks, Paul, for coming on tonight. Just an amazing couple of hours. It was just nice to let Tony and Paul go there for most of the show. There's some nights I like to sit back and absorb, and tonight was one of them. But definitely, if you're into doing that, Lisa, we'd love to get you in and just hang out.
Absolutely, yeah, go for it. I mean, yeah, that's what it's all about. And again, I think natural, real radio is the only way we can do this.
Yeah, it's a start. It's a start. We start off with the radio, and like I say, we've just done some work, as you know, with QL TV, and that's going to be running every week. So the radio is the way to start, yeah, because it gets people's attention, and you've got their ears, and it's easier listening. Well, all right. As a rule, it's easy listening. But yeah, internet TV is going to be faster, coming behind it, like you say. Then it's going to be up there on stage, which is going to be a whole different thing. So.
Well, I'd just like to say, I think what you guys are doing is amazing, because I know you've all drawn together to do this, and I can see where you're coming from, and honestly, I really do feel that what you're doing is amazing, because this is what we need to do, because we know what we have to do, yeah?
Yeah, totally. It does have to be done. There's no two ways about that.
And here's the only question anyone has to ask of themselves. And it's the only one I ever asked of myself. If not me, then who?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. that's take on the responsibility of yourself instead of leaving it up to someone else. And that's the conditioning of the system. That is your slave speak. When you think that someone else is going to do it for you, you're looking for a fake savior. You're looking for an answer outside of yourself. And I have to assure you, time and time again, that you're going to look inside. The clues are out there. And we talked about this last night, Tony. So just really brief. Once you find, you meditate and find that purpose within. That doesn't mean to say you sit on your hands. You've got to take. We've had ours, and it's been a hell of a ride. So I again, look in the mirror tonight. Everyone that's listening, look in the mirror tonight and just ask that question. If not me, then who? Who will do this? Unfortunately, I hate to tell you, it's got to be you.
Yeah. Spot on.
Yeah. That does make all the difference. It's all right, Again, this religiocosis thing is great, but if you're, again, it's no good sitting there and just waiting for somebody to drop out the clouds and save you. We're the ones to save ourselves. We're the ones we've been waiting for. So now we're here. So let's get on with it. The best you're going to get, guys, is you and me to stick with us.
Absolutely. Well, we got about 40 seconds left here, so I just want to do a shout out for Critical Mass Radio. You again, Paul. And of course Lisa and all the crew at Critical Mass Radio. I'm totally my voice every night where we can come to you what we have and what we found, and hopefully we can also we'll do this as long as we can, and that is our promise. That's not a promise, that's a vow. I made my commitment to the universe because I said that question, if not me, then who? So it had to be me. But much love to all the listeners, and thanks again, Paul, Lisa, Tony, beautiful show tonight. Thank you all, and don't forget, tomorrow night we have Bonacci and Jordan Maxwell, and we'll soon get you guys into tomorrow. Much love. Have yourselves a great evening.
God bless.